me to it, man. Yeah.
What's up, horror fiends? It's your boy, Ricky Grimes. I am back with the Three Corners of Horror on Horror Fiend TV. And of course, we got two special guests tonight. Two very special people I want to introduce to you. First, we have Robby from the Robby Horror Show. Welcome aboard to Horror Fiend TV, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you guys doing today?
Oh, I'm doing good.
I'm thrilled to be here. I love talking horror. Any chance that I get is one that I will take very, very quickly. So thank you guys for having me.
Appreciate you coming, and I appreciate my man Gilly from the Attic Review once again coming back.
Gentlemen,
how are you, bro?
Home now. Thanks a lot for inviting me back. I like it here. Thanks a lot, guys.
And of course, we got JR the villain, the man, the myth, the legend. What up, bro?
Well, I'm glad Gil likes the couch that he resides in now. But yeah, I mean, hey, welcome aboard, Rob. Welcome aboard too. Yeah, interested in talking about this one. M. Night Shyamalan. You know his history. Hit, miss, hit, miss. Now, did we feel, I don't know, that this was a good film to be trapped into? Or were we just witnessing an MTV biopic of his daughter?
Oh, man. All right. Moving on. And of course, the M. Night guy, Joe the psychologist. What's up, my beer brother?
What's going on? Hey, M. Night. I'm the biggest M. Night fan here. Probably, I don't know, maybe Gilbert. I'm gonna say Gilbert is a close second. I'm gonna go. We could be tied. I don't know. We'll see it by the end.
Enthusiasm is unmatched.
I thought I had enthusiasm. But M. Night, shit. Again, we made it a goal to go to the theaters and do movies so we could do these reviews. And once I was sitting in the theater, was I in the trap?
And the film we will be discussing tonight is the 2024 film Trap, written and directed by M. Night Shyamalan. The film stars Josh Hartnett as Cooper, Ariel Donahue as Riley, and Solika Shyamalan as Lady Raven. A father and his teen daughter attend a pop concert only to realize they've entered the center of a dark and sinister event. All right, I'm going to start with you, Robby, first. You are our special guest. I want to talk about Josh Hartnett. Let's talk about Cooper. Very fascinating performance, in my opinion. Please tell us everything that this character did for you and highlight anything else you want to talk about this character and the performance of Josh Hartnett.
Oh, Josh Hartnett. First of all, one of my big heartthrobs growing up. And as we all know, he's now come into his own as a proper screen king. He started off with The Faculty and H2O. He went to 30 Days of Night, Black Mirror. He was the male lead of a show called Penny Dreadful. I don't know if you guys saw that one, but he was fantastic. Yeah. And even then I started, was like, all right, he's really growing into his own as an actor. He's taking on different types of parts. And then with this one, when I saw the trailer, I was like, I'm already intrigued with M. Night Shyamalan. Like, how could you not be? But seeing Josh Hartnett as a villain and someone that just through the lens of Shyamalan, because he always gets great work out of his actors, I was like, I have to see it really for him, if not for the film itself, and hopefully the film is good. But I had a hunch that he would be incredible, and I thought that he was. I think if there's one prime reason to see this film that can't be disputed, it's his performance. The entire film, he starts off as this really kind of chipper, doting father taking his daughter to a pop concert, very over the top, very kind of corny and goofy, and that's totally on purpose. And then by the end, I think the biggest success of his performance is how he strips one layer at a time of artifice. So he starts at a 10, just, kind of in pure dad mode, if you know what I mean. And by the end, you see him for just like the evil kind of shell of a human that he is and how damaged he is. And I thought that the way that he calibrated that was really well done and really impressive for someone who, just in interviews, I thought he had a very kind of casual approach to acting, but here I thought he was really specific, really dead on. And that kind of continues Shyamalan's success rate of bringing the most out of his actors by giving them, the plots of his films, we can debate back and forth whether or not they work, but I think his characters are all really well written. And I think this one is no exception. I think Cooper is a great character. And again, if there's one reason to see this film, that's completely unabashed, it's his performance.
I like how you mentioned how goofy he was at the start. I don't.
Oh, he's doing like TikToks with her.
Yeah,
And,
yeah.
like,
I don't
getting
watch
into it.
trailers and I don't look up information. I go in fresh as much as I can, blind. So when I saw, I was already hooked as far as his performance, and he had me. I thought he was this nerdy dad. I thought he was gonna be one of the victims, so to speak. But when it flipped it around, and you mentioned it, how he started to unravel, and soon you see his true form. Man, good point on that. I want to get more into that in a bit. How about you, Gilbert? What you thought about Josh Hartnett as Cooper?
Oh man, seeing, again, I'm an old head. I'm pushing 40 now, so seeing Joshy Boy come out in the faculty in H2O, it's weird seeing him now as opposed to wearing a long sleeve and then a t-shirt over it. No, we've got this refined cringe ass dad.
Look.
And I love it because I'm a cringe ass dad. I've got my beautiful teenage daughter and I'm that dad. So watching it was so unbelievably relatable because, yeah, the cringe, the taking the TikTok for the daughter, the enthusiasm, even though he probably doesn't know two shits about the artist, but his love of her showed, his enthusiasm for the show. And that was a really cool aspect, just the father part, which apparently him and M. Night really bonded over because they're both, girl dads. And I understand that feeling. So I had a kind of a connection here because of this. And I actually had to ask my daughter because she just got his concert tickets. And I was like, baby, be honest. Do you just want to know if I'm a serial killer or not? There's easier ways to do this than this plot, so.
That's awesome.
But, again, the character, wasn't like a memorable one as far as like a Hannibal Lecter or, some other guys that we see. He's just your average run-of-the-mill dad. Pays his taxes on time, faithful to his wife, I'm assuming, but he's just there. But Josh's performance, though, like everyone says, is the reason to watch this. The little mannerisms, you can see his face trying to hide all the emotions, but he's still going through them, which was so amazing. At the same time, too, seeing him try to manipulate his way out of the area, but at the same time, put on dad face, put on that mask for his daughter. The Japanese say we have 3 masks. And, he was always so close. He kind of revealed his true mask to Lady Raven. So performance was just phenomenal. I mean, the movie was full of plot armor for him because, again, dumbest staff in the world. The cop was literally, no, we should check him. Nah, he's cool. No, this is protocol, man. Check the guy. He goes outside and like, hey, this is kind of fishy that this guy came outside with security around. I don't care if you know the word. We're checking you right now. It was just plot armor. I get it.
Bad nervous.
It's just, I understand the plot armor, but again, was this more promotion for Salika Shyamalan, which I loved her. Absolutely loved her music. I did. I like the aesthetics of it, but it showcased Josh, the father. And I loved him as Cooper. He was fantastic.
Yeah. I like how you mentioned Hannibal Lecter. I read somewhere where M. Night kind of based his film about what if Silence of the Lambs took place at a Taylor Swift concert. And that concept.
Hey, well, there it is.
There it is.
The one thing I ended up finding out just recently is that M. Night is married to a psychologist. And it all made fucking sense now. Literally all his movies have all made sense. He has got a psychologist over his shoulder who is helping him like develop these characters. And when they first showed the old lady, I sat there and I'm like, first victim, or is that his mama? I'm gonna go with the mama. So you knew what you were dealing with. So I did like the psychological part of his character. As Robby said, when he dropped his facade, he literally looked there and he went, all right, so I'm the killer here and you're going to listen to me. Like, it was just at that moment when he spoke to her, like you saw the look on his face. He did a great performance, and I'm going to say, I know Jared and Rick are gonna, he was daddy in this one. I mean, I'm not going to lie. Like Adam, especially towards the get to the end, and he takes his shirt off.
I was waiting for the Adam call. I was waiting for the Adam.
We're sitting
shout.
in the theater. Adam goes, "Go ahead." I'm like, now in some sort of kind of way, I have a little bit more appreciation for the M. Night movies, knowing because I don't look into the people's personal lives. I don't give like two shits. Like when I was watching the movie, I'm like, she kind of looks like M. Night. And we were done. I'm like, that was his daughter. Oh yeah. So listen. So I had no idea about any of that, which was great because again, I don't do the trailers. Gilbert, stop watching trailers.
I know.
You will do much better if you stop watching the trailers.
I know but I'll do it again. I'll do it again.
Well, I mean, I thought Josh, he was probably, aside from Eva Green's performance, Josh Hartnett's performance in Penny Dreadful was one of the highlights of the series. And that gave him the chops for this role. And I thought he did great.
That's how I remember Josh Hartnett as this.
With the shirt, yeah.
The ladies
that in H2O.
I used to dress like that, man, because of that character.
If MacGyver was a serial killer, this is what he'd be like, because we were sitting in theaters and some of the things he was doing, like, man, this dude's just like MacGyver. He just knows how to get out.
He knows everything, bro.
He knows everything. But I like how Robby was mentioning the different layers of persona he was shedding as the movie went on. He was like a chameleon, I would take it. He adapted to every situation. And then there was one scene in particular, I'm like, all right, he's gonna kill her in here. When it was the mom of the other girl, I'm like, if she doesn't die by the end of this movie, that's the one character I want him to basically kill off. But no, his performance was remarkable. I mean, if you do go to the Penny Dreadful show, it did show that he has a different level as far as character building, as far as performance, because that character in that show, the way it started out and the way it continued to evolve throughout the series was amazing. And he continues to do that as a character. Yeah, overall, I mean, I think we all agree he is the best best performance in the whole movie.
Yeah, I love how you can see how Cooper lays out all of his plans in his head. You can see the brain working, but his face is still smiling and trying to enjoy the show. But at the same time, he's like plotting, and it's just like such a great duality in character. I think he did a great job. He was my favorite part of this movie. To me, he made this movie.
I related to him.
He made it. This is an M. Night film, so of course, with every M. Night film, everyone comes to expect some kind of event or twist, as is commonly referred to, in a film that flips everything upside down, turns it on its head. This movie was a bit different in that regard because I don't think not everyone's gonna perceive the same twist as others. I don't know what you would, consider a twist at this point within this film. But Robby, where did the twist lay in this film for you? I'm curious.
It's a really good question. When I saw the prompt, I was like, let me just try to figure out what exactly how to approach it. Really quick before I continue, though, one funny thing about Josh Hartnett was that when he was filming the movie, he was looking around and he was looking at all the extras, and he thought that the characterization of the concert and the concert goers he thought it was over the top. He was like, there's all these girls, they all know the dances, they know all the lyrics, they're crying, they're screaming, they're shaking. He was like, I just don't know. He had never been to a pop concert before.
Oh yeah.
So I think during promotion for the film, he'd taken his daughters to see the Eras tour in London, and then he put it together and he was like, oh no, this is exactly how they all go down. They know every word, they know they can tell in the instrumentation what song's coming up. They're all crying. Anyway, so as far as the twist, I have to say, one thing I did enjoy about the film was that it's such a ride. I thought that the entire thing would take place at the concert. So once Lady Raven was fully aware of what was going on and then they left the arena, I was like, okay, I have absolutely, we're about halfway through. I have no idea where the rest of this is going. And I kind of love that because the trailer didn't hint at anything outside of the arena, really. For me, the twist was that his wife was the one who set all the pieces in motion. And it comes at a very interesting place because we don't meet her until like 3/4 of the way through the film. And the whole time I was like, wait a minute. So off of just, what was it, a hunch? Just like a bit of a receipt that they think that they're drawing the connection between this killer and this event. I was like, in the back of my head, I was like, that seems like a really kind of tenuous piece of plot there. I don't know if they'll ever address it because it was such a throwaway line that I wasn't sure if they'd ever go back to it. So by the end, when it was revealed that his wife had noticed certain things about him, knew that he was going to the concert, and decided to just pop that into the works, then I was like, okay, that's a good twist, because, and I thought Alison Pill's performance in that scene, she only really gets that scene to kind of show, she's a fantastic theater actress. And again, like a lot of his films, it's very much centered on her face and all the little micro expressions that she's going through. I thought that was great, even if, you have, again, as we've said already numerous times, is you have to kind of turn off your brain a little bit with this one, because there is no way that they would let someone like Josh Hart, like Cooper, with matching the description of the killer that they're looking for, would be able to weave in and out of merchandise booths and all the different hallways. You see, it makes an effort to show you different people with his general profile being, approached and taken out for questioning. And so, Josh Hartnett's charm only goes so far to kind of smooth that part of the plot over. But by the end, once his wife came forward and said, yep, that was me, I put that entire thing in motion. That kind of connected that little, it connected the dots that I had going on in the back of my head. And I have to say that in the end, characterizing him as, I believe it was OCD. I don't want to be out of pocket, but I think that was it. Made a lot of sense, considering that he is able to kind of see steps ahead of everyone else and kind of is able to map it all out. He keeps his murder scenes obviously pristine enough that no one can really, it takes this kind of twist for anyone to kind of catch on. And I did love how by the end, his arc is displaying how much he does care about his daughter, that one little bit of humanity in him, which to the point where I thought the final twist that he adjusted the bike just to get a pick for his handcuffs. I felt that was cute, but for me, it wasn't necessary. I thought that it was going to close on a more heartfelt note of being like, he loves his daughter. He now has to kind of face the music. So to kind of give him a possible out, I don't know how he would escape with, there's multiple vehicles following them. I don't know how he's going to possibly just kind of sneak out, although that's what he did numerous times in this movie. How a crowd around the limousine didn't see him assemble a bunch of clothes in the driver's seat and slip out, and no one was like, "Oh, he's right over there." I just saw him piling shirts on top of each other.
How did he slip out?
That's some part where I was like, even by Shyamalan logic, I couldn't quite understand how that worked. But that was my thought on the back half when things start kind of piling up.
So I mean, Mr. Robby nailed it. The wifey betraying him. Surprise, surprise. No, I'm kidding. But, she thought he was cheating, set him up for the FBI. I think that's extreme. Just confront him. Are you a serial killer? Are you cheating on me? We got to get the feds involved.
It was a bit extreme.
But seriously, that's kind of a tamer one from M. Night. The Visit was a very tame twist, but goddamn beautifully done.
Really good. I thought
very well done. Simple can be good. I'm so sorry, but simple can be good. But this case, it was like, okay, she's the one that, she was the Judas here. I hate to say it like this, but I was kind of rooting for him. But my take on it was that, actually, before I get to that take, was, we mentioned OCD. I think they said it when they were talking about, Lady Raven said they had a profiler, and she said that he has OCD. He's got mama issues. And I noticed the OCD immediately with the way he put away his gum. And when he was at the food court, the way he was tidying up, I was like, that MFer's got OCD. It's all over the place.
I suffer from OCD. I caught it immediately.
Yeah, dude. I was like, that guy's got OCD. No wonder he's playing. I get it. I'm the same way watching. I'm military as well. So I'm constantly that way. So I understood it. Joe, referencing the Psycho thing as well real quick. I held that close up. Also with the mama issues of Psycho. You know what I'm saying? So pop.
Yeah.
As far as it being too simple of a twist, but not the payoff like The Visit, I thought the twist should have been Alison Pill was involved, or she was the one, and he was covering up. I was waiting for that, or maybe the daughter was doing something, but I was like, Alison Pill's going to turn around and start laughing, a little hug, she'll show another victim, or something like that. I was like, that would have been a twist. I literally told my daughters, like, babe, watch this. She's going to be in on it. And then I was like, oh, shit, I was way off. But shoot or shoot. I tried. That's how I would have done it.
Damn,
But
Gilbert,
still-
you made me dislike this movie a little bit more because that would have been a really good twist, man.
I thought
I thought the same thing.
Yeah, I didn't
I
never
thought the
crossed my
same
mind,
thing.
never.
I thought it was going to be the daughter.
Yes,
See, and I thought
either one. I was like, this got to be it. But I was like, oh, that's it? You're just going to give him some sleepy pill and then put him in the back like, I was like, he's going to escape like what's his face? Like Hannibal Lecter. How he escaped in the ambulance. It's going to be the same thing. He's going to escape. So the twist was a letdown, and it was simple, but simple's not bad.
See, the reason I was snickering, because I agree with Gil, because the part where she's like has her back turned and he shows up, I thought she was going to go into like mom mode and stuff. You disappointed me. Once again, you failed me, and go into this whole thing. And the fact that they didn't do that, because her stance and her position the whole time was of the matriarchy figure, standard, disappointed at the child.
Absolutely.
And that's what I thought was going to happen. And then, like, I'll be honest, like, I think what it was too is we knew he was the killer already going in. Now it's just playing the pieces in place. Who knew? Like, as you guys were mentioning about, when we found out that, she found the ticket and tipped off the FBI, I'm thinking like, all right, so if you tipped off the FBI, you wouldn't just show a picture of your husband either? So there was a lot of plot holes that were
I never thought of...
So yeah, there's a lot of plot holes.
Wait a minute. Wait. Stop.
You're just for the whole movie, man.
Stop the video.
My head just blew up.
Wait a minute.
My head just blew up.
They don't have a picture of this guy. They just got a description. But yeah,
From her.
She could have just gave him a picture.
Yeah,
she could have just gave him a picture. Picture of the daughter.
Damn.
This is who you guys are going to be looking for.
I gotta watch it again. There's got to be some plausible explanation. That's too much. That's too much for me.
But that's where, because when I was thinking the whole time, when she started mentioning about the concert ticket, I'm like, hold up, man. So you just tipped off that your husband's probably the butcher, but yet you didn't give a picture of your husband, and all these innocent guys are basically getting taken out of their concert that they're having fun with their daughters.
But they said the concert was set up to.
It was a set up to.
They created the concert for him, so.
But she found the ticket, so she
her
tipped
daughter,
off
but she knew her daughter would want to go. The dad would get the ticket. That's how I took it. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, but then when she found the ticket, she tipped off the authorities that this might be the butcher. The butcher's going to be there, which it's just kind of like you're wondering, like, what the hell? And then it's like me and Rick were talking about this too. Is as you're experiencing like. What he's going through. And I told Rick, I said, I would have loved to seen like flashbacks of some of the victims he was doing. Because as the music is playing and you have certain flashbacks kind of showing how badass he is as a serial killer. Because all you got was, they found body parts and this and that.
They wanted to keep that PG-13 rating,
yeah,
bro.
Fuck PG-13, man. Serial killer stuff. Serial killer movies cannot be PG-13. They have to be rated R because you could have did the whole flashbacks. Instead of sitting there watching Lady Raven the whole time, it would have been nice having flashbacks of him doing the killing with the music playing in the background, and everything that snaps out of it is every time his daughter says something.
I would have liked when, and I don't remember her name, but Alison Pill's character, when she said there with her back turned, for her to go, how could you fuck this up? How could you have messed this up?
Rachel was her name.
Rachel. All right. How could you have messed this up? We have been doing this for years. And then because the psychologist, we have a OCD person. I'm OCD myself. I go anywhere I go, I look for the places that I can get out of. So that if I'm stuck in a situation that I've got to run and panic, if I'm alone, I'm great. But if I got somebody, I'm going to have to tell this person, you can follow me. So we can go out here. So I loved how he kept looking around, but he's looking around and seeing cops. An OCD person is looking around for ways out, not because of cops, because they did anything wrong. It's because you're in a situation that anxiously, you have so many people around you that you need a way out. But as he's looking around, he's like, that's weird. Seems to be cops everywhere that I can go. The movie had a lot of plot holes in it, like obviously. like I said, the thing for my head that turned it around was finding out that his wife is a psychologist, which is where I can see how the movie with how Cooper's character was done. The twist, like, yeah, it's not the up there on shit, I'm trying to think. It's not too low. But at least it's not the happening.
All right, let's get ready to close this one out. Robby, you're our guest of honor tonight. You're gonna get first dibs at this one. 1 through 5. 1 being absolute trash. 5 being, I don't want to say a masterpiece because we give 5s before that. In my opinion, at least for me, I don't consider them masterpieces, but they were a fun film with few flaws that I could overlook, and it's just a film that I would revisit over and over again. So depending on how you look at it, you could picture it any way you want. And
Your personal feeling on it. It's your personal feeling.
Yeah, your personal feeling. So, so what do you rate this 1 through 5? And anything else, though, you wanted to bring up as far as within the movie itself? The floor is yours.
Sure. So I would say, like, look, were it not for Josh Hartnett, it would be, I'd say probably 2.5. I think he brings it up to a 3.5, 3 out of 5, just by the weight and the charisma and the layers of his performance. I think he makes the film work in a way that I don't know if a lesser performance would have. As for the film itself, I think it's okay. I think it's probably mid-tier Shyamalan. It's nowhere near, The Happening or or After Earth or some of these other ones that are just like, what happened to M. Night? But I think it's more along the lines of maybe The Visit or The Village, which have great elements. But if you start to really pick it apart, you can probably, it's like a ball of yarn. You just start to unravel it. You're like, wait, this doesn't quite hold up. But it's also
The Village.
I know it's
I
like
love The Village.
I have my issues with it, but it has great elements. I think all those films that I just mentioned have great elements that you cannot take away from them.
I agree.
But it's also not The Sixth Sense or Signs or Unbreakable or even Split for that matter. I think, on one hand, if another actress had played Lady Raven, that part could have knocked it out of the ballpark. It was a great character, and she surprised me with her resourcefulness and what, the way that she was able to kind of use her fan base to kind of figure things out. Unfortunately, the part wouldn't exist without Salika Shyamalan being the one to do it. I'm sure that the part was written for her, and she's, for me, not a terribly good actress. So the weight that the part was screaming for, she couldn't quite deliver it. As Lady Raven, because she's much more natural as a singer-songwriter, she nailed that part. I thought the soundtrack was pretty good, even though, we see entire musical numbers, and I just wanted to be like, all right, let's keep going. Although, to that matter, I've heard that the lyrics do kind of correspond to what's happening on the screen. So if I were to, when I see it again, I'll pay more attention to that. But it was an interesting character that once she had to speak kind of fell apart for me. But for all the reasons that we discussed, it's a fun film to watch. When you really think about it for more than 3 seconds, you're like, hold on, none of that makes any sense. But I think that there's a heightened kind of goofiness to the film in general that helps smooth some of that over. So you're like, all right, it's sort of like Snake Eyes with Brian De Palma. It's ridiculous, but it's a good time, and it's very cinematic. It has a good sense of humor about itself, and all those things help it to be. When it ends, I didn't kick myself for being there. It was kind of like, well, that was enjoyable. It was stupid as hell, but I enjoyed it.
All right, well said, Gilbert. What up, son? All right, closing thoughts. Let's
Same
hear
thing
it.
I'd say, but I'm just gonna say 2.5. Great performance doesn't really weigh out the rest of the movie. I did enjoy the movie for the theater sense because I am a sucker for live music and stuff like that, and she Lady Raven, I loved it. I love the music. A huge fan of the soundtrack, which, by the way, I lost it when I saw musical artist Russ. I was like, oh shit, that's Russ. He was amazing.
Who was that?
And then when we saw,
Who was it? The guy with the curly hair?
No, that's Kid Cudi. So when you see Kid Cudi, Kid
Cudi
was probably Russ, and then Kid Cudi had the blonde wig on.
Yeah.
I didn't recognize him. Yeah.
Oh,
Kid
no way.
Cudi here, baby. That's amazing.
Good
So,
shot. I didn't even recognize him.
Hold on, real quick, Gilbert. Dude, Kid Cudi was in this movie with the blonde wig. Yeah.
When he did the daddy thing. He did the daddy thing.
I know.
Nice.
because I liked his performance in X. So
I
when
love him in that. He was incredible.
So when I saw him, I'm
Yeah.
like, oh my god,
I didn't
It's
recognize
Rick
him.
Could not be more the opposite of his character in X.
Yes, Robbie.
Could
Yes.
not be further apart.
So
Amazing.
when I recognized him, I'm like, is Rick going to realize that Kid Cudi's in this
No,
movie?
I didn't.
Like,
I didn't,
oh my
no.
god, it was fucking
I
awesome.
didn't recognize
Yeah,
him.
it
Anyway,
was
good
really
shout out,
great.
Gilbert.
And JR, oh man, I sat next to you, but I don't know what you were thinking, bro. That shit. Mind you, when we left, we didn't tell each other what we thought, what we were gonna rate it,
No.
nothing. We just
No,
we
we just
talked
said-
about the film, but
Yeah.
not in this context. So I'm interested.
I
Let's
did
go.
I did feel FOMO that I found that you guys went to see the movie together, and I'm like, oh man, so they saw the movie together. I'm like, so they experienced it together. So they might have talked about things on there.
We
I'm like,
talked
I want
about
to
it,
be in
but-
there. Well, no, I'm like, I wanted to be on there, but I'm in Florida, so
Yeah,
can't do that.
you're a Florida guy.
Yeah, you're funny. The
I'm
only
not
thing
a
me and
Florida
Rick
guy.
said is Joe's probably gonna be wondering, oh man, these fuckers went to the movie theater. They're gonna fucking kill this movie when we start talking about it.
Literally fucking said that. No lie. You're right. I thought about that.
All right. So one of the things about this movie is that M. Night financed most of the film himself, which kind of
did.
gives you the reason why his daughter was such a big role in the film, because he financed it. But for me, I do agree with Gil about the music, because it did feel like the teenage music that they would listen to, the Taylor Swift. So the Raya's reaction felt very natural, felt authentic. It felt like like my daughter does the same thing when she sees somebody she likes a lot. She has certain music she listens to, and I don't listen to the same music she does, because I still listen to Wu-Tang and 90s, because 90s is still the best music. But like for me, the biggest problem I had with this film was and this is M. Night, what he does is he teeters between PG-13 and rated R. And I feel like some of these movies should be rated R. This one should have been rated R. This one deserved a rated R. Because I wanted to see the whole thing about what he actually did to earn the name The Butcher, while the whole time he's fighting the human side of being with his daughter. I wanted to see that conflict more and more. I'll be honest, when he showed the kid on the phone, oh, look in the basement, I lost interest, because I thought that, man, that's weak. I mean, have him tied up or something, like almost like a Saw thing, where you're really showing why you're the butcher. And I agree with Gil. Once we talked about this in the theater, once they left the concert, the only thing we kept saying is like, man, he should have stopped the movie here. He should stop the movie here. He's still going. He's still going. He's still going. Now you have a SWAT team go to this dude's house, and they take their time to go in. Why this dude's literally inside cleaning up the house?
And what happens, Jared? What happens?
He escapes.
He still escapes.
He still escapes. It was just, for me, it was too many plows, too many things that you're like, all right, I know the FBI and cops can't be this dumb. And this dude's the butcher. They would have broke into his house and basically burned the house down to get to him. And the fact that you had the authority figures be so laid back and too easy going kind of like took a lot away from the movie. And yeah, the whole scene, I agree, Robbie brought it up. When he took the piece of the bike, there was no need for that. If anything, he should have took something from the handlebar, like the little, the things that they put on to, that the girl bikes usually have. Take that to, remind her of his daughter. I wanted that, basically, the humanizing ending.
Yeah.
While his daughter's because she hugs him real quick and runs away. I wanted that whole thing where she hugs him and they have to pull them apart.
Mm-hmm.
And then put him in there with him showing emotion that, like, if you want one final glare, it would have been him looking at his daughter and then him looking at the wife that basically now is keeping him from his daughter. So I'm going to give it a 3.
All along, it turns out that M. Night's been doing elevated horror because his wife is a psychologist who has played, probably, if you really think about it, in most of these movies, there's a psychological factor. She's played a part of it. But at the same time, it's not, I wanted more from this movie. Like, I wanted the cat and mouse to be the highlight of the movie. You guys all hate when he left the place. I wanted to see him get out of there. Like, not in how easily it was done, because again, where's the personal assistant? Like, it was too convenient. I wanted him to figure this out and get out of here, and it was just done kind of So for me, it's probably going to be my lowest. M Night is the 3 for me.
For me, my score, I'm gonna give it a 3 as well. That was originally what I was going in, and I was like, maybe I'll do a 3.5 depending on how the conversation goes. But I think, man, I think everybody kind of even devalued the film for me even more with JR calling out plot holes and Robbie and Gil's point of views. I enjoyed when he was in the concert, but yes, once he left, and again, this movie, and I hate to say this, man, it felt this movie was only made for a vehicle for his daughter to get put into the limelight. Because even from the very beginning, you see her posters, what's her name? Riley's shirt. She has her on her shirt. And this is before I knew about Lady Raven. That's going to be a major part. I'm like, holy, this guy's got his daughter plastered all over this fucking movie already. What's going? And then I found out it's about her character. What I did like though, when the concert scenes again, you see Lady Raven's character from the point of view of the crowd. When you see her close up, it's through the big screen that the crowd is looking at. And I'm thinking that is genius, because there's never one shot of Lady Raven by her side. It's always through the point of view from the crowd. It's all crowd shots and the big screen. Great. Once they left that, and again, now she's not away from that. Now she's delivering lines, and like Robbie mentioned, I told JR too. Yeah, not a good actress. Not a good actress.
She's not. She's
a little green, which is fine. She's new.
I know. Here,
hold on, Joe. Let me finish, Joe. But to finish,
we've been working on this.
But to revolve the entire movie around her, and then she doesn't deliver on her end. Again, I agree. The pop part, like her singing, her performances, I loved all that. And the fact that, and I even wrote it in my notes when I left, so I don't forget it. I love the fact that you only saw her through the point of view of the fans, the crowd, the concert. You never saw her a single shot, not one single frame was of Lady Raven until he escapes.
I appreciated that the character had layers to her. Once they get to the house, you see the wheels turning. She's like, his phone's right there. How do I get the phone out of his hands without disturbing his family too much? Oh, there he is. Oh, let's take a picture. Oh, wait, I have to go.
Smart decision,
The way the character was written was very, very smart. And the performance, I could see what she was going for sure.
Yeah.
But there was a lot of layers there that she had to kind of get to. She's scared, but she has to be reserved and, kind of get to the bottom of, all right, where is this lion statue? Where is this door? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah. So she had a lot going on in that scene. I think that it was a lot to ask of a amateur actress. Mm-hmm. I hate to use that word, but it's her first time out. She did okay.
She did okay. She did what she had to do with what she could do.
Well, which is one of the knocks in the movie, is that his daughter was one of the focal points.
10, it would be Alien by Ridley Scott. I just think it's, in terms of sci-fi horror, it really doesn't get any better than that. From the production design, the H.R. Geiger design of the alien, the chest bursting scene. There's so many iconic moments. Next is Psycho. Hitchcock. I think it's just a masterclass in terms of voyeurism and audience, kind of getting the audience on Norman Bates' side to the point where you do not expect him at all to be the threat. And Anthony Perkins is incredible. Session 9 by Brad Anderson, which is a kind of an asylum set ghost story. Depending on who you speak to, it's a ghost story. But that's what I love, is that it's ambiguous. Yes, exactly.
It's a good psychological thriller that has good twists in it. And the ending is like, what the fuck?
Oh, it's a great film. No, it's about a group of union workers who are tasked with clearing out this mental hospital that's been abandoned for a while for asbestos, so that they can rebuild it into something else. And basically, depending on who you speak to and depending on how you view it, they might awaken something that is kind of etched into the walls of the asylum, or it's entirely psychological. Like I said, it's a great ghost story because you're not sure exactly what the threat is or where it's coming from, but it's beautifully done. Next one is The Shining by Kubrick. Controversial just because, number one, there's been a lot that's come out about Kubrick's directing style of Shelley Duvall. It has nothing to do with the book very much.
Have you read the book?
I've read the book and I've seen the miniseries, and the miniseries is almost verbatim the novel.
You like the miniseries?
I wouldn't say that, but
okay.
It has great. I thought Steven Weber was great. Rebecca De Mornay was excellent.
All right.
There are some good moments, but the thing is, it's like what they had in time and the ability to kind of take the book and expand, put it into film form.
Hard.
Yeah, it's the film lacked was a little bit of edge, and I wish that there was a way to kind of make a feature length film of the book. Next would probably be The Sixth Sense. I would say. I think that's a gorgeous film. It's creepy, and depending who you talk to, it's not even a horror film, but I would say it's spooky enough and it's dark enough. I totally agree. Haley Joel Osment, one of the best child performances of all time. Bruce Willis is great. Toni Collette should have won the Oscar for her performance.
Okay. Oh my God, hold on. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Toni Collette's performance.
Yeah.
In that movie.
Yeah.
Was top notch.
Oh, wonderfall. The car scene between Cole and his mother, I can't watch it without sobbing.
I'm breathing as you're saying that, the way that scene was done. Oh
my God.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't matter how many times I've seen it. Yes, the twist, once you've seen it, it doesn't surprise you anymore, but the film still moves me every single time that I watch it. I think Hereditary for me, it's a terrifying film that's layered with a lot of psychological, nuance to it. It's about
watches.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it's layered as hell. It's all about trauma and schizophrenia and, generational trauma and mental illness. There's so much that's happening on top of these incredibly scary sequences. And it's just, surprisingly a fun time, especially by the end when it just goes ape shit and everyone's running around and you're still not entirely sure what's going on. Next is Black Christmas. Halloween was several years later, but Black Christmas was the first one to introduce a lot of these tropes.
What? Wait. Introduce what though?
Not introduce, but kind of take all these tropes. The final girl, the POV, having a holiday set, horror film. And It almost doesn't even seem like it is a slasher by nature, but it doesn't seem like one. It feels more like a kind of a low key mood, like a moody, just straight up horror film. There are many deaths in it, but there's a level of taste to it. There's really no blood, but it's tons of. What's up?
Out of Parasite, did you know that he did A Christmas Story after this?
I did, and it doesn't surprise me at all. They both have this kind of
he wanted to clean up his image, so he did A Christmas Story, which is
amazing
child trauma for the rest of us.
Two iconic Christmas movies directed by the same person, and if you watch them, you could never. On one hand, you couldn't guess that they're both by Bob Clark, but on the other hand, when you watch them, you could absolutely tell it's the same person.
You could go, okay, I see it.
They both have this kind of not slow, but just a deliberate pace about them. They're not in any hurry to kind of be finished. But Halloween was several years later, and it took a lot. I think John Carpenter even admitted, I watched Black Christmas, and I said I want to take a lot of that and put it on Halloween and kind of do my own thing with it. So Halloween was the one that kind of synthesized and solidified a lot of those tropes for all the slashers after it. But Black Christmas doesn't get the credit it deserves for being the first one to kind of do a lot of that stuff.
Thank you.
Next is Texas Chainsaw. I think in terms of just pure adrenaline and intensity, you can't do better than that one. It's what, 85 minutes long or something. It's not a long film, but once you first see Leatherface, the film does not let up. And the whole documentary style of it just, there's something about the way that Hooper put it together. Number 2 is Scream. This film was actually the one that got me into horror. I saw it when I was 10 on opening night with my dad and my little sister. And I didn't understand a lot of the references that the film makes, but I understood. I had a great time watching it, and it scared me and it freaked me out. But I think the film also doesn't get a lot of credit for how many things it's able to do at once. It's a slasher. It's a dark comedy. It's a satire. It's a commentary about all the horror tropes, but it's funny, but it takes itself pretty seriously. Like when people are being murdered, when Sydney's being terrorized, when all these things are happening, they're not winking at the camera constantly. It's not a parody, which I see people sometimes refer to it as. It is a satire, but it's a whodunit. So I think what Kevin Williamson did in that script was just, far more brilliant than I think a lot of people might even realize. How he was able to kind of take all these elements and just make it into something that was fun, scary, accessible, I think even non-horror fans can watch the film and appreciate it. And Joe, as you know, my number one is Halloween. We discussed it on the previous call, and I think it's just not a perfect film, of course, but when we're talking about our favorites, it's just about the vibe that you get from it. It's about the feeling that it gives you. And considering that my favorite holiday is also Halloween, I can't think of another film that really distills it. And it's just this marriage of the uncanny with Michael Myers. You're not sure what he is. You're not sure if he's a demon. You know that he was once a little boy. Now he's a grown man. And with the mask over him, you're never entirely sure. You know what Dr. Loomis says about him and how he observed him. He's no longer Michael. He's the shape.
Evil
Exactly.
is gone.
The evil is God. But that kind of it puts you into middle of America, in every it could be any town. It doesn't matter that it's Illinois, and it puts this sort of mysterious evil at the core of it, all on Halloween. And so it's just a perfect marriage of all these different elements. Another great final girl, great sort of Captain Ahab-esque hero in Loomis, the cinematography, the score, the seasonal vibe to it. I think everything about it just works so perfectly. And yes, we can pick apart some of the plot holes. We can pick apart some of the line readings, but every time October 31st comes around, I have to watch that film. And every time I'm kind of blown away with what they accomplished on a relatively small budget, because he put the vast majority of it not towards set design. That was neither here nor there, towards the camera that he used. So that even to this day, the film looks like, $1 million.
I love hearing everyone's top 10. We heard Gilbert's last a couple of weeks ago, and everyone's different, and that gives us a vibe of our guests and what they're into. And
Joe, you're a mute, brother.
Yeah, he knows. Yeah. wait, he's trying to talk? No, I got it.
I did not. I think Gilbert's was different last week.
Yeah.
He threw us off.
So everyone has a different list.
I want to hear I want to send them to me. I'd be curious to kind of see what, where.
You know what I wanted to do? I wanted to get a list of all of our guests, and
go through the top 10s.
Yeah, go through.
Good idea.
Yeah, and put them all together just to compare them, because like I said, everyone's different, and we don't knock people and what their top 10. And we don't. No. We're not about that. If somebody has a film they love and let's say I don't like it, I'm not gonna be like, why is that on you? No, because it's all subjective and people have their reasons, and that's what I love hearing. That's why we don't want you to say, my number 9 is this, number 8 is this. No, we want to know why. Thank you everyone for joining us on another episode of 3 Quarters of Horror. This was your Trap review plus Robby's top 10. If you guys want any more information on Robby and Gil, their information will be in the description below, so make sure you follow them. I know Robby's cooking up some good shit for the future. And of course, you got the Attic Review on YouTube. Subscribe to his channel. His information will be in the description below. Of course, we got JR, Joe the Psychologist. I'm Ricky. Thank you for joining us. With that being said, stay good, stay healthy, stay sane, but most of all, stay scared.